Shanks versus Luffy in Elbaf. Around a month ago at Gartel Island, which is under the protection of the red-haired pirates, Bartolomeo the cannibal burnt the Yonko's flag and replaced it with the Straw Hat symbol. This is one of the nastiest things you could do to another pirate crew. A flag symbolizes the crew's pride, strength, and clout. If randoms start coming in and destroying it with no one coming to punish such actions, it's a sign of weakness. We saw after the Marineford War that all the territories of Whitebeard were seen as free-for-all as the flag lost its integrity. Randoms like Brownbeard were wreaking havoc in these territories as the fear initiated from Whitebeard's symbol was gone after his death. Innocent civilians who staked their lives under the safety of Whitebeard were punished due to the crew losing the most during Marineford. The people of Gartel Island are in a similar position, as random pirates won't attack and loot them due to the fear Shanks' flag brings to the world. But if news spreads that Barto destroyed the flag with no consequence coming his way, then more and more pirates will start pillaging Shanks' territory. So to deal with this affront, Shanks himself has shown up to teach Barto a lesson. Bro is kneeling on the ground pleading for mercy, saying that this was a foolish mistake. But Shanks is not having any of it. Instead, Barto is given a deadly poison. His task would be to bring this poison to Luffy and have him drink it. In exchange, him and his crew would be spared by the red-haired pirates. This is no ordinary poison though. It causes intense pain. Blood erupts from the victim till they die. Basically, it's one of the worst deaths. Since Barto claims that he is under the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, it should be his boss that takes responsibility for destroying Shanks' flag. Although Barto acted on his own through his affiliation and replacing the flag with the Straw Hats, the world sees it as an aggravation towards Emperor Shanks by Emperor Luffy. Oda here is trying to showcase that Luffy isn't just any old pirate now. Every action by him or people faithful to him in the world has massive ramifications. Barto, being the greatest Luffy glazer, could never let his senpai suffer like that, especially due to his fuck up. So he snatches the poison with his mouth and drinks it all himself, with his only regret being that he won't see his senpai become king of the pirates. However, turns out Shanks was just playing around. The drink given to Barto was not poisoned. He was simply testing him to see if he has a true glazer mentality. This drink was likely the same super strong Asantine drink that the Straw Hats were drinking at the start of the chapter, which actually has a green look to it. But don't think Barto and his crew left scot-free, because Yasopp was reminded of his deadbeat status due to Barto talking about the crew his son is on. So bro took out his sniper and destroyed the going Luffy.
I still love you.
Can you shut the fuck up?
This is an insane feat, because just recently we saw in the anime how Van Arger, one of the premier snipers, barely was able to destroy a goddamn rock Beppo was flinging around at point blank range. Yet Yasopp is strong enough to completely vaporize an entire ship from long range. However, Yasopp choosing to do this to Barto's ship when Shanks let him go reminds me of how Luffy's crew is. Let's go back to Water 7 when Luffy and Usopp had a disagreement over the Going Merry, where Usopp left the crew. Luffy wanted to go and bring Usopp back as they are friends. However, Zoro stepped in to talk some sense into Luffy. Shanks' crew follows a similar dynamic. He might be a captain, but he needs his crew to fill in for the parts he can't do. Shanks, after seeing how much Barto was a fan for Luffy, didn't want to hurt a friend of a friend. But Yasopp knew that by just letting Barto go would lower their crew's standing. So he stepped up and destroyed their ship. Now, I don't think Barto is dead. They were only a bit off of the coast, and Barto, with his barrier power, could shield himself and his crew from the explosion. However, the bigger discussion from this chapter has been about Shanks being a poison merchant. I've heard from people all over the community how bro could only hang with the strongest in the world because he had already poisoned them. Apparently, the evidence is there. This is because Shanks offered a drink to Higuma in our first meeting with him. Next, Shanks Shanks gave Whitebeard his hometown wine, causing him to grow even more sickly during the Marineford War and dying. We have seen Shanks give drinks to Ace, who eventually was defeated by Blackbeard and died. Then there is Shanks giving a drink to Mihawk, who underperformed during Marineford. Like, bro, couldn't even kill a no hockey before time skip Luffy. Alright, it has to be the rat's poison that did this, right?
Oh shit! Alright!
The motivation behind Shanks doing all of this is, of course, he was ordered by the Gorosei, whom red-haired Shanks is secretly working for, weakening pirates all around the world for Emu. Heck, this theory says that the reason the Shanks was even in Roger's crew was probably to poison him and kill the Pirate King slowly. A lot of people in the community have subscribed to this idea that Shanks is actually secretly evil, where him trying to give Barto poison for Luffy proves it. But guys, the drink wasn't actually poison. They literally let Barto go after proving his loyalty to Luffy. Whitebeard was already sick and old. Mihawk didn't care for the war and wanted to see Luffy rise. Ace had drinks with Shanks ages before his fight with Blackbeard. There is no correlation between Shanks secretly working to undermine Luffy behind the scenes. He had a perfect chance when Luffy ate the gum gum fruit to just kill the kid if he was working for the government secretly. He didn't take any of it, instead choosing to pass on Roger's will to Luffy. Furthermore, Shanks doesn't need to be evil for there to be conflict between him and Luffy. They are both after the same thing, the One Piece, so they will eventually have to fight. We have seen from the relationship between Roger and Whitebeard that you can be rivals yet still friends. There is a mutual respect between Shanks and Luffy, especially after witnessing the loyalty shown by Barto. Like, bro literally smiled like a proud father after witnessing how far Luffy has come. Furthermore, Shanks' evil twin and his family history with Figureland is already being set up with the God's Knight, so it's more likely that his evil twin will show up to backstab or trick Luffy than Shanks himself. If you enjoyed this, watch our video about the entire story of Shanks and how he's a celestial dragon, which actually gives some better evidence to why he could be a rat than this theory.